topic is how to choose a Sisterlocks consultant. You should search online for your nearest consultant, although you may decide that your nearest consultant isn't the one that you want to go with. You also want to check that if you have been recommended a consultant, that they are listed on the sisterlocks.com website, either as a certified consultant or as a trainee. There are so many things that you need to think about, and you want to start with the Sisterlocks website, sisterlocks.com. You want to find a certified consultant or a registered trainee in England, in London. You can also look at sisterlistuk.com, which will help you search by postcode and by area, which is a bit more handy because UK is kind of big. And it gives you a bit more information as well in terms of, is there parking? Is it free parking? Is it paid parking? What's the nearest train station? Is it British Rail or is it Underground? Call up your consultant and check out the energy. Another thing that you need to consider is the energy. So when you go for your consultation, let's rewind, okay. So when you call up these people, or your consultant or your trainee, you'll be checking how they speak to you. So if they answer the phone, probably not the person you want to go to. If they answer the phone, hi, good afternoon, how can I help you? Or if it's a business and they say, I don't know, Annette Salon, how can I help you? That's a good indication of how it is. If you don't get through to them because, they may be, Sisterlocks may be their part-time job. So you may call and they are at work doing their other job, and that means they're going to get back to you later. So if you've left a message and they call you back or text you or something like that to acknowledge that you've called, yay. If it's taken like 2 or 3 days, maybe not so good. When you actually speak to them, many consultants will give you a ballpark figure, starting from when you ask them how much it's going to cost. Some will just say, well, I really can't say unless I see your hair, and that's perfectly fine too, because that is absolutely true. So don't just write off somebody because they're trying to get you to come in for a consultation. It really is that they need to see your hair in order to give you an accurate estimate. One of the things people say is, oh, my hair is 5 inches, so can you give me an estimate for that? So yes, we could give you that over the phone. However, you could come in and your hair isn't even 5 inches. It could be 6, it could be 7. I remember when I got my hair done, I was pretty much convinced that I had, 7 inches, and I actually had 9.5. So unless you've actually measured your hair, properly, then your consultant will be the person who will know how long your hair is. What else would you be thinking of in choosing a consultant? Consider the consultant's availability, waiting lists, and working hours. How they work. So, for example, your consultant may only be available in the evenings and on the weekends because they work during the day, doing something else. Another consultant may be available during the day because their kids are at school, so they do all their appointments during the day, but no evenings and no weekends. Some consultants don't work on Sundays because of religious reasons. Some don't work on Saturdays because of religious reasons. So you will need to be, checking those kind of things out to find out what is suitable for you as well. Some consultants, if they work during the day, they may start at 8 a.m. Some start at 4 a.m., 5 a.m. Is that convenient for you so you get your hair done before you go to work? Or are you a person that would rather do it in the evening, so you want to start at 7 in the evening and just be the last client for the day? Some consultants can only do installations at weekends because they work full-time, so they have to do it at the weekend or they take a day off work to do it. And some of them only do installations during the week. So again, those are things to consider when you are searching for your consultant. You should ask to see their client portfolio, but bear in mind that new trainees may not have one yet. What else could you consider when choosing a consultant? Okay, obviously you need to look at their portfolio of work. Things change, everyone's hair is different. So for example, there's no point looking at a picture where maybe they've done a client who has sparse edges or hair loss around here, and you think that's their work. No, they're working with what they've been given. Again, it's no point looking at a picture of someone who has really thick, full hair and therefore has loads and loads and loads of locks, and you're thinking, woo, yeah, that's going to be me, when you know that your hair is fine or sparse. So, you will really have to judge. Look at the size of the squares, look at the neatness of the lock, look at the partings. Are they straight? Is it good enough for you? If you don't care about partings, really, you're not so bothered about your center part and everything being straight, then when you see work and you just see loads of locks and you're happy, go with that. If you're someone who is a stickler for the partings and blah, 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 when you're looking at a portfolio, then make sure you look out for the partings and look for the things that you care about. Some consultants leave a lot of the ends out. If that's something that bothers you, then you will know not to go for that. We are all taught the same, and that is to lock as close to the tip as possible. Are references important to you? Some people do ask to talk to clients to see how they are feeling about it, but bear in mind that the clients who stay are not really going to have anything bad to say because they've stayed, they're happy. What else would you look for? How they treat you, how are you treated? Do you feel welcomed, or do you just feel like you're another, a dollar walking through the door kind of thing? Another thing to consider is what the working environment is like. Okay, so if you're not going to be comfortable with having children around, and your consultant or the person you've called has children who may or may not be in the house at the time, that's something for you to consider as well. So that may not be the type of environment that you want to be in. If, however, you don't mind and the kids are there, or they come in after school or whatever, then if you have time constraints, it's worth considering the experience and therefore the relative speed of your consultant. You might also have issues with speed, for example. So trainees may be slightly slower. Well, they usually are slower than consultants. And you may be happy to do a 3-day, whereas a consultant might be able to do it in 2. And I'm generalizing here because obviously it depends on the length of your hair and the density of your hair, how long your installation is going to take. But those are things to ask as well. For me, for example, an installation day for me is 8:30 till about 6:37 at the latest on one day, and then I'll do another session on the second day. I used to, when I first started, I used to go from 7 a.m. right through till midnight, and then whatever spilled over to the next day, I'd do that again. But you know what? That's not healthy. Sisterlocks is very time intensive. It's physical work. When you're standing up there locking somebody's hair, your hands are moving. You can get wrist problems and finger problems, especially if you're doing this every single day of the year. So I prefer a healthier option where your butt doesn't get tired sitting in the chair, and my fingers and my back don't give out on me before they need to. So there's something like that you might want to discuss. I've mentioned how the consultant should make you feel, and now I just want to have a few words about how you should actually treat your consultant. Another thing to remember is, or to be mindful of, is the way in which you yourself interact with the person at the end of the line. Please be polite. I know it sounds really silly, but there are some people that would just be like, yeah, I want my hair done, let me get it done. And you're like, hello. It would be nice to say hello first. Most of us work from home, but it is a business for us as well. And it'd be lovely if you guys would treat us with respect in terms of, hi, yes, if you were calling up, I don't want to say British Gas because that's not a parallel at all, but if you were calling up another business and you wanted to find out information, how would you be with a business? You'd be courteous, you'd be polite, and you would try to get what you want from the customer service person. So when you call us, please try to be that way. Of course, if the person isn't returning that to you, or maybe that's not the consultant for you. But generally, we are nice people, and we're polite, and we're professional. So you treat us the way that you would like to be treated, which is great. And so now on to my presentation, so you can see some more stuff and not see my face. Okay, guys? I hope you're enjoying the weather. Bye. So let's wrap this up with a summary. So we just want to make sure that they are a legitimate consultant or trainee and not a charlatan. That way you have some recourse if something goes wrong. And also you want to check if they're welcoming, how their telephone manner is, and how they're actually treating you. You know, do you feel welcomed? Do you feel, like it's a good place to be, or are you not so sure? 3, consider what their availability is. Do they do their installations during the week? Do they do them on weekends? What are their working hours? Do they do their retitements early mornings, during the day, in the evenings, a mixture of that? Do they work on Saturdays and Sundays, either or neither? Don't forget to check out their portfolio. They may have this on Facebook. It could be on their blog or a website, a photo gallery. You can also ask for references, but again, that's optional. Consider the working environment. Some consultants work from salons, some are home-based. A lot of us are home-based. So that may be an issue for you or something that you want to consider. You also want to check whether there are children around, what the working environment is like. Is there a hard chair, is there a soft chair, is it a salon chair, just different things as well. The golden rule is that you should just do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. And I forgot to mention what you should actually get on the video. So what you should be getting is a consultation. So after you've spoken to your consultant and chosen them, or even before you've decided this is the one you want to go to, you should be getting a consultation which lasts for at least an hour, where you get to talk to them, you get a good feel for them, and you suss out all of these things like the energy, and you can see the working environment and all these things that I've mentioned. You will also then have the opportunity to receive some sample locks. It's very important that you receive these sample locks and that your hair is assessed for which pattern might be the best for these sample locks. Any consultant who shortcuts that and says, oh no, you don't need the sample locks, we'll just do you, I would be wary of them. And I would also be wary of somebody who doesn't let you have at least 14 days between the receipt of your sample locks and your installation date. Those are just 2 things to be very aware of. Okay.